Right, I'm going to show you how to fix a washing machine that's not spinning. This machine I picked up, the customer said it's not spinning. I've tested it, it's not spinning. The problem with this is going to be the carbon brushes that are worn, and I'll show you how to change those now. 9 out of 10 times it's going to be an easy fix, which is the carbon brushes. These here are carbon brushes. They sit on the motor, they're on springs, and they do wear down over time. So as the motor spins, they wear down. When it gets to this point, it won't work anymore, and they need changed. So to change them, you have to come round to the motor, but before doing anything, make sure that the appliance is unplugged. I've had a shock before, you don't like it, you won't like it. So make sure the appliance is unplugged, and then go ahead and remove this back cover. The back covers are removed in a variety of ways, but the principle is always the same. You just unscrew them and take these off. And what we'll do is I'll put this up here out of the way. So if you come down here, you'll see there's here's the pulley, that's what turns the drum, that's the belt which connects to the motor, and the motor's down here. You'll notice that the motor has 2 bolts on them, here and here. Some other motors are slightly different, but almost all new machines will have this 2-bolt system. So first off, you're going to have to remove the belt. Just gently apply pressure towards yourself while rotating it, and it will just slip off. We'll put that out of the way, and then we're going to have to remove these 2 bolts. This one, and that's 2. On this machine they're 10mm bolts, some are 8mm, some are slightly different, but it's always the same principle. After we do that, what you're going to want to do is unplug them. You'll unplug them first so you don't put any excess tension on them while removing the motor. The motor now will just pull forward and then it will just slide out. So there's a knack to this. Watch you don't hit your hands on this, or you might cut your fingers. You might want to wear gloves. There is a knack to doing it, but it should just slip off like that. And then you can remove it from here, or you can tilt the machine back and remove it from underneath. Whichever you find easier. So I'm going to put this up on the side here so you can see. So this is that's my daughter telling me it's heavy. Right, so these are the carbon brushes here, and they're held on by 2 screws. And what you'll see when we take these out, you just take these 2 screws out, and that will remove the carbon brushes from the motor. That's one, and the other one just fell inside. There it is. And that will just come off, and you'll notice that that's very worn compared to what it should be. So what we'll do is we'll remove this tag. This one's got a little bit of a clip on it. You just push down on it and it will remove. Put that to the side and do the same for the other one. This one's got the cables connected to the side of it. Take note of that. If at any stage during this you get overwhelmed, what to do is take pictures at each stage of this, just so when you're putting it back together you don't get messed up. So on this one, once again, this brush is very worn. Under pressure that would just go down to that metal bit. You might get blue sparks, or it might not stop. It might stop spinning straight away. So we'll take that off. We've got the new brush, and what we're going to do is put the new brush back onto it. And you want to put it into the same way, you want to put it back on the same way as it came off. This one's got a slightly different contour on this. It's because it's a spare one from a different machine, so the contour is a bit different. On the ones that you buy, it will be identical. I've got a method to sort that out later, so don't worry about that. The ones that you buy will be the same. If you're unsure if it's the brushes, this is an easy process. Just take the brushes off, check them, and if they're worn down like the ones that I just showed you, then what to do is just buy new ones and hook up the new ones. They'll cost you about £10 depending on where you're buying them from. And once again, take note of the position that you took them off, because you'll need them to fit back on. What makes them different is these connectors here and the size of this connector here. Some of them have them up the middle, some of them have smaller, so you need to make sure it's the right one, because this does need to sit on the motor correctly, otherwise it will cause problems. And it could actually short the motor. But don't let that put you off, because if it is the correct brush, you'll know when it's on correctly, and it will work just fine. That's that plug back on. So that's the motor back intact with the new brushes, so we just need to reverse the process now and put this back on. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift the machine up, drop one of my bits off the top of it apparently, and lean this back down. So after we've done that, we're going to slide it back on. Once again, you want to slide it back on before doing the connectors. In my case though, because I've done this many times, I'm quite confident in what I'm doing. I'm just going to plug this in first, just to make it a little bit easier. Well, there we go. And now what to do is there's a knack to this that you'll need to figure out, but essentially you're just trying to lift it back up into the lugs. You want to make sure that all four are connected, and please do make sure that all four are connected. If all four aren't connected, then it'll cause problems. So once it's on the machine, just give it a wee wiggle. If it feels like the back end of it's dropping, do it again, because it needs to have all four of these connected. So now all we need to do is we need to put the nuts back into it. I'll just get that over. Just put the nuts back on. I'll be loud. That's one. Handy tool this. That's two. Once they're back on, you might want to use a ratchet just to make sure that they're on tight. In this case, that tool is pretty powerful when they are on tight. After that, you want to put the belt back on it. So to put the belt back on it, the easiest way is you want to hook this up with a spindle, so it's round the spindle like that. And then you want to feed it on this side. So once it's on there and it's on the spindle, you just hold it on there, watch and not hit your hand on that, and just roll it round. So once it's rolled round, making sure you don't hit your hand, just give it a turn, make sure that it's in the same slot as it was before. If it's not, just gently apply pressure, pulling it whichever way you want while rotating it, and it'll slip into the right knot. In that case, that's it back on where it was previously. Actually no, it's not, it just needs one more. There we go, that's it back onto where it was previously, and that's the machine up and running. So what I'm going to do now is I'll quickly put the back on it and then show you it working. So for these ones you want to make sure that it's on correctly, so you just line up these two grooves. And what I do is I line up these two screw holes here. If they are lined up, then it should be good to hold it on. I just hold on with my knee here. And then put these two screws in. I won't put all of these in because it's just for the length of the video. Screw the rest of them in, and the last one you want to put in is this one here. It screws through here to pull that forward like that, and that will sit on. I'll put the rest of these screws in a minute, and what we're going to do just quickly is we'll just turn this on to make sure that it's now working. When you put new brushes on a machine, it will be a little bit louder until the brushes are worn in. In the case of this, because the contour was a bit different, it will be louder still, but like I said, I'll fix that another time, don't worry about that. We're just making sure that it's spinning again and it's rotating. So this is it now on a spin program. That's it locking the door, and here we go here, the drain hoses fell out, but that's it spinning again. And that's how you change brushes on a washing machine. Good luck guys.